Turn him loose.
All I'm going to turn loose is about a pound of buckshot. There's half a pound. Where'd you like the other half?
She was America's favorite granny, wise, fiery, and fiercely devoted to family on screen. And yet, off-screen, Irene Ryan lived a life marked not by domestic comfort, but by solitude. No children, 2 marriages that ended in divorce, and a quiet final chapter that few truly understood. In this video, we take a closer look at the men she once loved, the paths they took after her, and how Irene Ryan's real story both reflects and defies the image we still hold of her today. Before Irene Ryan became Granny to millions, she was part of a classic vaudeville duo, Tim and Irene. Her first husband, Tim Ryan, was a writer, comedian, and character actor, and for a while, her creative and personal partner. The two married in 1922 and spent 2 decades touring the country, performing comedy sketches that delighted live audiences and radio listeners alike. They shared stages, scripts, hotel rooms, and eventually growing creative differences. In 1942, their marriage ended. But unlike many celebrity splits, theirs wasn't marked by public scandal or bitterness. Remarkably, they continued to work together in short films after the divorce, proof, perhaps, that their professional chemistry endured longer than their romantic one. And if you're into classic Hollywood, legendary love stories, and fierce women who refuse to be tamed, hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and your support helps us bring these stories to life. After the divorce, Tim Ryan continued to act and write in Hollywood, appearing in over 70 films, mostly as a supporting actor in B-movies and crime dramas. He never remarried and lived a modest life until his death in 1956 from a heart attack at the age of 57. His name quietly faded from public memory, even as Irene Ryan was just a few years away from stepping into her most iconic role.
Oh, we'll camp on the lake tonight. The fishes, the streams, the trees. Oh, Irene, our first camping trip, just you and I.
Yes, now let me see. Did I remember everything? I put the milkman out and told the cat not to leave the evening paper boy.
You did what?
Oh, no, that is kind of silly. I mean, I chased the paper boy and told the milkman not to leave the evening cat.
Yeah, never mind. The car's ready. Let's get in.
Now, Tim, you can have that nice long rest.
Yes. Oh, the fields, the stream, the flowers, and the
While Irene Ryan's first marriage was a public collaboration, her second was almost entirely out of the spotlight. In 1946, she married Harold E. Knox, not an actor or a comedian, but a man who worked behind the scenes in Hollywood. Knox was a production manager and assistant director, contributing to films such as Swamp Fire, 1946, Young Jesse James, 1960, and The Last Man on Earth, 1964. He belonged to a class of professionals who kept Hollywood running, even if their names never made it to the marquee. Their marriage lasted 15 years, ending in 1961. It was a private union, no children, no public appearances, no interviews. Even in biographies of Irene Ryan, Harold Knox is mentioned briefly, if at all. What they shared, they kept to themselves, and perhaps that was by choice. After their separation, Knox quietly stepped away from the entertainment industry. He eventually remarried, this time to Wilma Billy Cigar Knox, and lived a quiet life far from Hollywood's glare. He passed away in 1991 at the age of 86 in Scottsdale, Arizona, reportedly of natural causes. Harold E. Knox may not have left a lasting legacy in film, but for a time, he was a steady presence in Irene's personal life, a chapter in her story that reflected restraint, distance from fame, and perhaps the search for a kind of normalcy that stardom rarely allows. After her second divorce in 1961, Irene Ryan never remarried and never spoke publicly of any romantic relationships. For someone who spent decades in show business, often surrounded by fame and flattery, this silence was unusual. There's no record of boyfriends, flings, or even rumors. Unlike many stars of her generation, she kept her private life exactly that, private. It seems that Irene found her greatest fulfillment in her work, not in romantic attachments. She continued to perform well into her 60s, earning 2 Emmy nominations for The Beverly Hillbillies and later performing on Broadway in Pippin. But behind the scenes, she was already ill.
Now, Irene, how did they know we were going camping?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Of course you didn't tell them.
Why, of course not. You told me not to tell them. All I said to Mother when she called up this morning was, "Oh, Mother, won't you be surprised when you come to see us and find out that we left at 8 o'clock this morning on a camping trip?"
I can't understand how they found it out. You and that family of yours. All right, get in. Wait a minute, wait.
In March 1973, during a performance of Pippin, Irene collapsed on stage. She was later diagnosed with an inoperable glioblastoma, a fast-growing brain tumor. Despite her condition, she remained composed and private, keeping the severity of her illness mostly out of the press. She died just weeks later, on April 26, 1973, at the age of 70, in Santa Monica, California. She had no children and no surviving spouses, but she left behind a powerful legacy in both comedy and generosity. Perhaps most touchingly, she created the Irene Ryan Acting Scholarship, which has since supported thousands of young theater students across the United States. For Irene, the spotlight was not about ego, it was about legacy. And though she never had a family of her own, she left behind something arguably more enduring: opportunity for generations to come. In the end, Irene Ryan's life was one of deep contrasts. She portrayed a woman obsessed with family, yet lived her later years completely alone. She made millions laugh, yet never sought public attention outside of her work. Her 2 husbands, one a fellow performer, the other a quiet technician, represent the only documented loves of her life. Both are now gone, just like Irene, but the woman behind Granny remains unforgettable. Because sometimes the people who give the most to the world ask the least for themselves in return. What about you? Do you have a favorite moment from the Beverly Hillbillies, a scene that made you laugh, or one that stayed with you all these years? Share your memories in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and giving this video a like. It helps us keep telling the stories behind the legends you remember.